There can be only one podcast, and may it be the Prince of the Universe. Hi, folks, I'm Matt, and I am reviewing Season 3 of Jessica Jones and Runaways. Where do I start? Well, obviously, I'll go ahead and talk about Jessica Jones. It was the worst. It is the worst, worse than Agony all along. I knew that the very first time. Let me back up. Let me go through Netflix. We've talked about Netflix a little bit in the way distant past. Bruce and I talked about the Netflix shows. But I'm going to give you my just rundown for people just joining. When Daredevil came out, I was excited like everyone else. I thought they were good fighting. I thought Kingpin was the star of the show. If it had not been for Kingpin, this would have been a very mediocre season. Now, the seasons got up and down depending on who you ask here, but the first one, Kingpin is the star. He's the star. He's the reason to watch it. I hated that they drug out the suit until the very end, a tired trope. It's like, let's keep them away from superhero suits. Yet, it looks like out of all the Netflix ones, the only guy who wore a superhero suit is getting a sequel. That's all I'm saying is people like the superhero suit. And yet we try so hard to keep everyone else out of a superhero suit. Now, Season 2 of Daredevil, okay. And then Season 3, I think. So the other seasons. Now, Foggy, the other ensemble cast, very good, very interesting. I was into them. Him as Matt Murdock, the actor's really good. Again, good fight scenes. Love the costume. And, of course, Kingpin is the best. Now, Elektra, big letdown. Did not like Elektra. The Punisher guest starring on it was awesome. Super awesome. And, of course, the Punisher series was pretty good, too. But then it reminded me, I think it was Season 3, is when we got those 1 or 2 episodes with the Kingpin. And I was like, no, this series needs Kingpin. And Kingpin really made the series. I remember after watching the first season with my wife, she went, I would watch a show just called Kingpin. I said, me too. I don't care anything about anyone else, even though the cast is all great. I'm glad they're bringing back the show. I'm glad Kingpin is back in it. I was super happy to see him in Hawkeye. So, and Echo, it was nice to see him, but we didn't see him that much, which was a shame. But he's just wonderful. So that he's coming back for Daredevil, I'm excited for it. That we don't have to wait a whole season until Daredevil puts on the costume, I'm excited for as well. Daredevil being in She-Hulk was one of the very few highlights of She-Hulk. It was that and Abomination. Tim Roth was excellent. He was excellent as the Abomination. It was really good. So even She-Hulk had some scenes I could cheer for. I did enjoy the Daredevil fight. I did enjoy the walk of shame for Daredevil. I didn't mind it. I didn't mind the yellow costume either. And I sure as heck didn't mind Tim Roth being in it. I thought he stole the show, really. So other than that, She-Hulk is atrocious. But it does have things that can beat out all the crap shows. It beats out Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It beats out Echo. It beats out, definitely Jessica Jones and Agony all along. But, so Daredevil, super excited when it came out. Then, I can't remember what came next. I think Jessica Jones did. Not excited. Thought it was a dud. Luke Cage came out. Love Luke Cage. I think Luke Cage is awesome. In fact, he makes a cameo in one of the last few episodes of Jessica Jones, Season 3. And I was excited to see him. And I said, please don't go away. Please stay for the rest of the season. But, of course, he didn't. But it was good to see him. I like the character. I feel like they didn't... It's like Miss Marvel. I love Miss Marvel as a character. I don't think the TV show does her justice. But those are two characters I love, and their TV show sucked. Iron Fist, if you don't know this already, I loved it. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. Season 1 is the best. Season 2 is good. Not as good as Season 1, but I was pumped for a Season 3. I was so excited for a Season 3. And, of course, we didn't get it. We got Defenders instead, which was not good. What was it, 6 episodes? That could have been boiled down into 1 or 2 if you stretch it out. They really didn't have a storyline for the Defenders, and that's really sad when you bring all your stars together. This was going to be Netflix's little, Avengers crossover, and they punted on the kick, man. It was terrible. It was terrible. What a terrible show. Punisher was great. I did. I think I can't remember his name. Shane on The Walking Dead. He did great, man. He's a great Punisher. They really. I mean, I liked between him and Thomas Jane. I don't know who I like best. It's really a toss-up. I'd be happy either way, but he really played a good Punisher. The first season is just brutal. Second, good too, but I hate that he had to have someone to talk to. I get it. Punisher's a loner in the comic book. He didn't talk to anyone. You could have him talk to himself, but you have to have an ensemble. Punisher is not someone you have an ensemble with. Maybe he has contacts, maybe a few contacts / not really friends, but contacts that he could talk to. And maybe it follows a cop who's trying to chase down and arrest the Punisher, or maybe he teams up with the Punisher later on to have Punisher serve out justice. Something like that wouldn't have been so bad. But, the Punisher's ensemble was really terrible. Other than that, the Punisher was excellent. And that was it, right? Yeah, that was all the shows. So if I rank them, which one did I enjoy the most? I'm not sure. Punisher is very close to Daredevil, but Daredevil has Kingpin. So I think I'm going to give it to Daredevil. Then Punisher. Then right behind that, Iron Fist. I really love Iron Fist. But Punisher just had some awesome scenes in it. So that's why it beats Iron Fist. Next up, we have, I guess Defenders would win after that. Even though I didn't think Defenders was that good. And then a way step down. These are big step downs for the last three here. But Luke Cage, and then definitely, because I enjoyed watching Luke Cage, the actor, I did not enjoy anything that Jessica Jones brought to the table. Season 3, atrocious. It is so bad. I could kick myself. I forgot that Hellcat, that was Hellcat the whole time. Her best friend, her stepsister. I mean, they said her name a million times. It never clicked with me. And then she gets these abilities. I didn't know that it was an ability. She catches the phone with her foot. The phone falls. Is about to fall down the crack between the elevator shaft, I guess. But she reaches out her foot and catches it. Okay, that's something like Dude Perfect. Is that a superhero ability? Because Jessica tried to get superhero powers at the end of Jessica Jones season 2. And it hints that, she has special abilities. And yes, her abilities is super swift gymnast. And, she's quick and agile and stuff, above average, even though Jessica Jones throws her around like a rag doll every time. But I still didn't get it. I still didn't know until her mom goes, now when they made the joke, I should have known, because she's wearing an old Hellcat costume. It's just in real life, and it looked very pathetic. I didn't really get the joke. She went, no. And I should have known right there that I said, wait, this is a superhero. And when her mom goes, she should give her name like Cat. Everyone loves cats. And, it's supposed to be a funny one-off joke. And I went, Cat, Hellcat. That's who she is. And I now looked up her, looked her up on the internet. And, of course, that's the name. And oh, man. So, Hellcat. Now she's walking around like in ninja gear, like Daredevil did for an entire first season. I'm thinking, are they going to give her a costume at the end? Nope, they don't, because this is Jessica Jones. Just, you live for disappointment on Jessica Jones. They will never rise up to your lowest expectations. They will only sink further. So not only is Hellcat, the comic book character, not seen, but honestly, she is not portrayed as really that super character. Jessica throws her out a second-story window and she lands on her feet. We don't see how, because they don't have the CG. They can't afford the cheap CGI to do that one scene. I mean, everything feels like they said, hey, guys, we only have $4,000 per show. We can't do anything special. We got to film in the same rooms and outside as much as we can. Zero special effects for this one. Luke Cage can have some cool stuff, explosions. Jessica Jones had maybe an explosion here and there, but nothing compared to the other ones. I feel it was the cheapest made show of them all, that this got 3 seasons of utter garbage. And Luke Cage and Iron Fist, they should have at least teamed them up and made season 3 like a joint season between the two. That would have been awesome. In fact, I think critics would have loved it. But what a shame that Jessica Jones was the only one, well, one besides Daredevil, to get 3 seasons. What an absolute waste of time. Of course, that's really kind of how it ends. Jessica Jones is kind of all alone now. She's arrested her sister. Her mother-in-law died. It was supposed to be a shock death, but I don't really care. I think they were trying to, at her funeral, everyone's saying that I never would have found my full potential if it wasn't for your mother. And then, of course, Trish, or whatever her sister's name is, stepsister's name is, thinks back of the time when her mother was basically she was kind of being overbearing parent, but at the same time she cared. She saw talent in her. I don't know if we're supposed to feel sorry for her, and why are all these people at her funeral who we never heard about? Because she is portrayed, the Jessica Jones stepmother is portrayed as an awful woman. Yet we're supposed to feel bad for her. I guess they thought in hindsight, oh no, we killed someone off that we told the audience don't like this person. This person's an awful person who, just wants their kid to be successful. They're a greedy little mom who only cares about themselves. And it's just kind of selfish. And when they killed her off, they thought, I bet the writers in the room thought, you know what? No one's going to feel bad about her death because they hated her. We made the audience hate her. So let's turn the tables and let's say, wait a minute, audience, you should feel sad. You should feel sad. No, it's awful. It's terrible. It's terrible. I think, and by the way, if Foggy didn't appear in this episode, this season, he appeared last season. And the whole time when I saw Luke Cage and Foggy, I was like, please save me and take me back to your world. Just move the Jessica Jones show through the eyes of Foggy. I'd rather have that. He's on the case working for Jessica Jones. We'll get Foggy, an episode of Foggy. I would love that over anything. Even the biggest air quotes here, action scene of Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones is utter trash. It is utter trash. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had its moments that made me laugh. Jessica Jones has nothing to make me laugh. She's a despicable character. And I get it. Jessica Jones is a fallen character who doesn't believe in herself. Every time, she just can't live up to her full potential. She kind of self-implodes. I get it. But she is just not a character you like. The audience isn't supposed to like her. She falls. She's always getting drunk. She's always giving up. She's always, getting down. And then she lets she punches a guy for being sexist to her. But then another day she feels like, you know what? I need to get someone to jump my bones. So the next guy that hits on me gets to do whoopee with me. I mean, I get it. She's a degraded character, but we can't cheer for that. The audience can't cheer for that. It's just sadness all around. She has another boyfriend because her other boyfriend, well, it wasn't her boyfriend, her love interest in the second season, he found someone else. I don't know why, but he just did. He probably said, you're a sad sack of sadness. If you were at the carnival, Jessica Jones, you'd be sadness on a stick, so I found someone new. Maybe that's what he said. I don't know. But it's just awful. Awful, awful, awful. Jessica Jones, you are now crowned officially and forevermore worst MCU show I have ever seen. And Agatha All Along wins because, again, Agatha All Along has less episodes. Agatha All Along had shorter episodes. Those are the two main reasons that it beats out Jessica Jones. And well, at least in Agatha All Along, they wasted money. They spent money, but they also wasted it on how they spent it. But at least they poured a little bit of money into it. Not that really matters, because nothing they did was interesting. But so for those reasons, Jessica Jones, you reign supreme as the worst. If I had any other Netflix shows that I could bring back characters, I want to see Luke Cage and Iron Fist back from Netflix's world. I want to see Punisher back. I really want to see these characters again. I hope in Daredevil there's a few episodes where Luke Cage and Iron Fist are a team. I hope there's an episode where the Punisher comes back. That would be awesome. I would never, ever want to see Jessica Jones again. Even if she made it out of rehab, she's positive. Maybe she becomes a superhero again, which they would never do because you can't wear superhero tights in these shows. Got to make it cheap. People don't like tights in the real world, I guess. But I would never, ever, ever want to hear or see her again. She is the worst. Now, moving on. We're moving on to Runaways. Just to recap, season 1, I thought was excellent. I was surprised. I was shocked. I was like, why didn't anyone tell me about Runaways? Because if I would have known about this, I would have watched it. But I didn't hear any hype on this. It was really good. And I was thinking, did I find a hidden gem? Definitely not the best of the MCU, but I was thinking this could be a top 5 MCU. Definitely a top 10. Now I know why. Season 2 is just a total swing and miss. Season 3, and I talked about this with a buddy of mine from work. He's a big MCU fan. He does admit that he kind of looks on them with, rose-colored glasses because he wanted everything to succeed. Now he still watches MCU. He's still a big MCU fanboy. But he does look back on those older shows, some of them, and say, yeah, they weren't that good. Because he couldn't remember Runaways. I told him about the first season. I saw the second season. He said he didn't remember. And when I just had this conversation with him this week about all 3 seasons in one, he kind of sat back and agreed with me. He's like, yeah, man, they really screwed that up. And we looked at it from, this is all, I am all, what's it called? I'm guessing. Speculation. That's what it is. I'm speculating on what I think happened. What I think happened that after a disastrous, horrendous season 2, they probably lost a lot of viewers. Because honestly, Runaways had lost their way. It was boring. There was no sense of somewhat tangent to reality, meaning they were living in this house. They needed money in the very first episode. Money's hard to come by. We found this hovel of a home. Oh, man. Look, you should see the bathrooms. And there's probably a bunch of raccoons. There's raccoons living upstairs and rats everywhere. Okay, well, let's see the struggle. But we didn't. Then we go from that to they have nice colored sheets on beds. They have electricity. They have running water, obviously makeup, stuff to do their hair. I mean, honestly, they're living better than they were at their own house. They got clothes, closets full of clothes and clothes of food. Clothes, and they never starve. They make a joke in season 3, pancakes. Oh, wow, we got pancakes, or waffles. Yay, waffles. Oh, man, we finally got something to eat. Really? Because what have you been eating this whole time? You haven't been struggling for food at all, but they act like waffles is a meager meal, and they'll take what they can get. Well, at least you got a stove that works, I guess, and plate. They had silverware. That's really nice. Who bought that? Maybe they used the old silverware that wasn't smashed and broken with all the graffiti when we saw this was an abandoned house that had been lived in by homeless people. Goodness gracious. What a disaster. No, they're living like it's a CW show. But to show you that it's still an old house, they scratched up some of the paint on the wall or ripped through a painting in the background or had a few planks of debris over in the corner of one of their rooms on the floor. Like they have this immaculate, beautiful room with zero dust, yet there's some, debris on the floor that they just won't pick up. They cleaned up everything. They rearranged the closet, made their bed, but couldn't clean up 3 planks, broken planks in the middle of their room. That's just there to show, oh, it's still messy. Wow, that was terrible. And I think the fans and viewers thought the same, and they tuned out. So in season 3, here's what I'm speculating. I bet they said, hey guys, I know you want this little, parents are infested with their alien bodies have been taken over. Their bodies have been taken over by aliens, and it may be too late for them. They may be gone. And we find out that the black kid, I've already forgot his name. Alex, there it is. Alex is the son, which again, there's no reason why he manifested late. They still don't make an excuse for that. In fact, the alien said, "What took you so long, son?" "Dad, I'm not part of your watch. I don't go on. I didn't want to call you because I was happy." "Wait a minute. No. You said it takes time. They should be in and out of consciousness, and everyone came over at the same time. So why is Alex not having these moments of lapse? I don't know. Anyway, totally dumb. But they said, hey, wrap this up quick. Do not use the rest of the show for this. You need to wrap the storyline up. So they took 10 episodes, and they said, well, button it up in 3. And honestly, by the end of 3, maybe the 4th episode is the aftermath, they're done with the story. They've wrapped it all up. Jonah's no more. It was the dumbest thing ever. The Kids see because they just revealed that the son was Alex in season 2. So you have to have an episode where Alex is the villain. And then they had to do 2 episodes just to kind of get him used to thinking he's the villain now. Okay, he's part of the villains. He's part of the betrayers. So season 3, it all comes to a final battle. And I think there may be some aftermath in season 4. But season 4 is also the start of the new story. I mean, episode 4 is the start of the new. They wrapped it up quick. And so Jonah is not even, the actor's not even brought back. What happens is the parents who are infected, they see the kids who find their secret base. And so the parents run for it. The kids chase them and then can't find them, end up back where they are. And then the parents surround them and go, "We have you now." Wait a minute, you already had them in the very same room earlier. Why did you run? Oh, because we need to pad time to have some fake running action where they use their superpowers to stop traps set for them or stop things that were tumbled down or thrown at them from down, top the stairs to kill them, And then there's not even a big battle, and then everyone is back to normal. All the parents are back to normal, and the bad guys are defeated. That's it. And then we got to flash forward 6 months because we got to do our new story. Alex was left in the netherworld, by the way, I should mention, they are forgetting. And this is part of the old storyline. They said, guys, if we don't leave the alien host here and bring our parents' bodies back with us, we'll forget who we are. And at this point, toward the end, they're forgetting each other's names. They just know the mission right now. But if they stay any longer, they'll forget everything. They'll be mindless automatons. Not Alex. He's in it for most of the season. They don't get him out till like season 8 or 9. 8, I think. And he remembers everyone. He's fine. There's nothing wrong with Alex when he comes out. He's kind of mentally scarred by the torture he had to be in the netherworld or wherever he was. But he remembers everyone. Why? Everyone else was forgetting really quick in that episode. But again, maybe new writers took over and they just didn't even bother looking at the first 3 episodes of their own season to see if there is contradiction within the same season. And I knew there would be because every once in a while they have to check in and see where Alex is. And the witch opens up a portal to look into his world. He's like, Nico, help me. Wait. How does he know your name? He's been there way longer than any of y'all were. And the first thing y'all started forgetting was each other's names. So dumb. But again, I think it was new writers that took over. They started a storyline with Morgan Le Fay. Love that. Love that Morgan Le Fay is in it. The Darkhold is in it. That was later on brought into Scarlet Witch. And now Darkhold has the word, the Darkhold, on the book. Obviously, in WandaVision, was it? WandaVision, they got the Darkhold book. Either way, it doesn't have the word Darkhold on the book. But it is the same book in the MCU. And who says the witch doesn't just, move the symbols around to make the book better disguised? So it doesn't have the title Darkhold, on the cover. I don't mind that. But what a missed opportunity for Agony all along to not just bring Morgan Le Fay. Morgan Le Fay, when I was watching her, by the way, I think played by Elizabeth Hurley. Excellent choice. Excellent villain. I was excited. Of course, there was nonsense going on from the last storyline, but she's a good one. And they don't do much, of course, with it because she's taking over Wizard, the company that their parents own. By the way, the parents at this point have nothing to do. I forgot to mention Alex's mom gets killed in episode 3. They wrap up her story. Obviously, that lady did not want to be in the show anymore. So what they did in this 6-month jump is that the husband, who was grieving for his wife, 6 months later is living with his cousin's girlfriend, the cousin who his wife killed. And that girl in the last season, season 2, would not even let him set foot in her house. She hates him. She knows he didn't have anything to do with it, but his wife did. She wants nothing to do with him. But she says in 6 months, it turned around and now they're living together. Why? Here's the reason why. Because when the actress who played the wife said, I got another role, I have to leave, and they wrote her out of the show, the writers still had dialogue for Alex's mother to tell the father. So what do? Well, we have to give him another wife. So let's just make this girl, since she's already part of our cast, let's say they got together in 6 months. And now she can say all the lines, and she does. You can tell she is saying lines that the wife would say. That you came from a world where you were thugging. Now you're not. You don't have to do that now. Oh, whoa. That's what the wife always used to say. But now this girl says it because that she's taking over the wife's lines. And you can just tell. It's so obvious. This is such a mess. Runaways is such a mess. There's a few other things too, because the parents really have nothing better to do. They have nothing better to do in this whole series now. And it's such a shame. James Marsters is excellent in the first season and not given that much to do in season 2. And in season 3, even less. I mean, it's just so awful that they wasted a good actor. And the only interesting character left. No one else is interesting. It is just a mess from top to bottom. But then it gets worse. Because at the end, when they fight the big battle with Morgan Le Fay, the girl, oh no, I forgot the girl's name already. Gert with purple hair. She is talking to Elizabeth Hurley, Morgan Le Fay. She is walking around her, giving a big speech, and Morgan Le Fay is like smiling as she walks around her because she's like, I'm going to defeat you too, but doesn't realize that the whole time Gert is talking to her, walking around her, she's pouring salt around her, making a salt seal, trapping Morgan Le Fay. Aha, outsmarted her. Wait. You mean an all-powerful, all-knowing, super smart witch who has taken over a company, has this big grand scheme. She didn't have to use, she used a little bit of magic to get in, but charmed everyone else with their natural charm and made it through. She gets fooled because when she's watching Gert move around her, she doesn't happen to look down to see that Gert is pouring salt. Now, give it, maybe Gert's pouring salt down below the waist, but still you would see that and hear it and be like, what are you doing? Are you seriously think pouring salt around me while you talk is going to work? Like I'm going to be making eye contact? There's some rule. I guess there's some rule that when the hero talks, you look at them. You cannot look from the neck down. You have to look from the neck up and be totally oblivious. But anyway, she blasts Gert before the circle is finished and sends Gert on a spike on a spike, which Gert dies. And everyone's sad. And it's a sad ending. But wait, there's another episode. And this is where it just gets really bad. It skips, I want to say 3 years into the future. 3 years in the future. They all have different lives now. But the fisticuffs guy who's always loved Gert, he wants to go back in time and save Gert. Oh, no. And already you're like, oh, no. This is how they're going to end the series. And so it begins with there's an evil Alex from the future trying to kill everyone. They're trying to stop him and save Gert and it's just like so much convoluted nonsense. They go back to and it's supposed to tie the first episode in because they go back to some of the scenes from the first episode and remember what they were doing before they met each other and make some apologies to how they acted and how they were. And, this time the fisticuffs guy gets to tell off his friends for treating Gert rude, where back in the day, his younger self was too nervous to ruin his new friend. He didn't want to take the side of a nerd and whatnot. I mean, just teetotal garbage. And then they save Gert with the same salt pouring trick. It's so bad. So death does not matter. And they all fade away. I guess the 3-year version fades away and leaves it to the current version to be friends forever, all living together. Woot, woot. And it's awful. It is awful. What a terrible, terrible, terrible waste of talent. Season 1, excellent. Don't watch anything else. Because season 1 had such an excellent episode, it is above Jessica Jones, Echo, Agony All Along, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's over a lot of things. It may even beat Luke Cage and Miss Marvel and definitely She-Hulk. But that's only because of its excellent first season and the rest of it floundered. Shame on the writers. Shame on the writers for that, for destroying some great potential here. Now, I never read the comic book, so I don't even know how true this was to the comic book, But guess what, folks? Because it wasn't a good series, I also don't care. All right, so that's my review. Will I be watching more MCU shows? Yes, I will. I'm going to watch one more. I found out that Hellstrom is not part of the MCU. Yay, yay. So I don't have to watch that one. Cloak and Dagger did make a crossover appearance in Runaways, and because of that, I am going to watch the 2 seasons of Cloak and Dagger. So maybe next time I do a solo like this, it will be on the entire Cloak and Dagger series, and then I'll be all caught up on MCU shows. All right, folks, that is it for now. I'll see you next time on Princes of the Universe.